Hey folks, welcome back to SC Haulers. I'm Saxawine, and today we are going over the newest industrial ship presented by RSI. This is the Salvation. Finally, we have a small ship for new players to really just kind of get involved into the game. If industrial and PvE is your type of thing, this is one of those ships where the gameplay is relatively easy, at least at this point, and you can just get into it fairly quickly. There's not a whole lot to this ship. It's a starter, it's a salvager, and you can make money just right out of the gate. All right, so let's pull up this Salvation and see what it's got packed into it. Okay, so the first thing we are going to go over is the systems. And this thing is just packed with industrial parts. And these are all size 1 D, B, and C parts. So your cooler has an EcoFlow, which is a size 1B industrial. If we look over at the power plant, we have a size 1C industrial, which the Fortitude is pretty standard across the board. The Colossus is actually pretty good for your quantum drive. That's a size 1B industrial. And then for our shields, we have the Bulwark, which is pretty standard for industrial ships across the board, but that is size 1C industrial. As for our weapons, we have two size 1 Bulldog repeaters. Our utility. So I have a braids on mine currently, but it comes default with the cinch scraper modules. Avionics we don't have any flight blades yet. So if we go to the MISC category, we will see that the salvage heads are here. And before we get into this, I want to show you a clip from the behind the ships for the Salvation.
Salvage generally starts with the scraping of the hull, and the Salvation comes with a pair of bespoke salvage scrapers.
Okay, so maybe that was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. If it was not, then this is important, that you can currently in 4.4 unequip the baler head that is on the Salvation and equip a regular baler head. So the bespoke baler head that is supposed to come with the Salvation, currently you can take that off and put on the regular baler head. Now, the only thing that switching these baler heads provides is another utility slot for that baler head. So the Salvation can only put one utility slot on there, or one utility module, and the baler salvage head can equip two, which is what you find normally on the Vulture, Prospector, and the Reclaimer. Okay, so we know what the Salvation can do, which is salvage, and there is one thing I want to test. How efficient is the Salvation compared to the Fortune and the Vulture? So we are going to do a time test, and we're out in an asteroid field in Pyro. We're just going to look for some salvage panels. I want to find clusters that have two large salvage panels. And once we find those two panels, we are going to start the timer and then, see how efficient, like how much RMC can we get with each ship and how quickly does it take us to get that RMC. So we're going to take the Fortune out first and go from there. Okay, let's go ahead and start scraping. Oh crap, the timer. Yeah, the timer might be helpful. Okay, so here we go. Let's actually start salvaging. Okay, and this might actually be the most boring thing you watch for me all day. So I'm just going to cut ahead to when we are all done with the two panels, and we will see what we have. Okay, so we are almost done with this second panel, and we are approaching the 8.5 minute mark, I think. The Fortune just feels so slow. Like, this is supposed to be the king of RMC for these smaller ships, and it just feels so slow. Okay, so 821, 822-ish. So the Fortune does have automatic. I forgot to turn the automatic unload off. So we are going to have to go back to the Polaris and count how many boxes we have. I will see you over there. Okay, so we do have a little bit left in the hopper. So 0.95. Yeah, 0.95. Let's just verify that because it was mixed in with the text on that panel. Yeah, so 0.9. Just under 1 SCU. Now let's go outside and count. Okay, so on the starboard side, we have 3. I thought that would have been full. It said filler station was blocked. But we have 6 on this side, so I'm wondering what's going on. I cannot continue ejecting. This side is full. Let's go take one off. So I'm assuming that hopper on the starboard side is probably full. And I need to take one of these off. Why am I going so slow? Okay. Let's go eject. Okay, so that's going to be 6 on the port side and 4 on the starboard side. And then we have 0.9 in the hopper currently. So we are looking at 10.9 SCU in 8.5 minutes. Just under 8.5 minutes. It was like 8:21, right? All right, so we're going to get the Vulture and then head out and do the same thing. Okay. So we're going to leave our little patch spot there like we did with the Fortune. So just in case I didn't say it before, we are looking to get these panels down to a certain percentage. If you look in the middle of the screen, there are 3 icons in the middle of the screen there. And thank you, Shattered, for telling me this because I had no idea what these did. But the top left there, that is the salvage percentage of the panel that you are looking at. And this applies to the ship as well. So as you scan a ship with your salvage heads, you will have different areas that are highlighted, much like this panel is highlighted blue. That will tell you the salvage that panel is salvaged. The percentage that salvage, oh my gosh, the percentage that panel is salvaged. So you can see as we start salvaging this panel, that percentage is going down. So I am getting every panel down to at least 5%, but trying to get less than that. As close to 0 as I can without having to spend extra time like getting all the edges. So we're going to skip ahead here because I'm sure y'all don't want to watch me salvage. And we will be back when we are done. Okay, we are finishing up our second panel here, and this went by so much more quickly than the Fortune, which is unfortunate because, like I said with the Fortune, it's supposed to be the king of RMC, so you would expect it to be faster and efficient for RMC, and then completely suck just for regular salvage. But this finished in about 6 minutes, 11 seconds. And we ended up with 10 SCU right on the money for RMC. So less efficient than the Fortune, but just with the amount of time, how quickly that you get salvage on the Vulture compared to the Fortune, I would say the Vulture is definitely the winner in the fight between those two. So I hope that the Fortune gets a little bit of a speed buff when it comes to RMC. It doesn't make sense that the Vulture would be way more efficient just because of the speed that it has with the two heads, that it would render the Fortune useless, essentially. All right, so let's head back to the Polaris, and we are going to pick up the Salvation. I got you in here. You are going to go back in. Brute force will be applied. Maybe we can squeeze it under here. Oh no, that little ramp is sticking up. That's why it won't go down. Ugh. Come on now. We're gonna have to do something different. Okay. We're just gonna leave it like this. I'm done messing with it. I wonder if the hangar door will close. It should. Alright, so we are out here with the the Salvation. And we have 2 panels. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, it looks like it's missing a chunk. Okay, so I had to just cut forward without audio on this because apparently my wife called me at this time and we had a conversation about, you know, private stuff and whatnot. But the Salvation, we ended up with 8.3 SCU of RMC off of 2 panels. But that being said, it had the fastest time of the 3 ships to get all these panels done. So it is very, very quick, and it might feel like it's more efficient because of how quick it is, but the Salvation is getting you actually a lot less RMC than what the Fortune and the Vulture can do. Almost, compared to the Vulture, it's getting you almost precisely 2 less SCU every time you salvage those panels. So that is the negative side of the Salvation and what you can expect, on top of the low quantity in regards to cargo capacity. So you can fit 13 SCU onto the Salvation. And if you're wondering how I got 13 SCU onto the Salvation, the way that it works is you will have 6 on the cargo grid, 1 that is in the buffer that is ready to go, and then another 6 SCU that is in the hopper waiting to be processed. Not refined, processed. Okay, so after going through that section where I said I could replace the baler heads, I actually wanted to test it. And let me tell you, this looks so ridiculous. Let's pull these bad boys out real quick. Look how big these things are. Like, it makes the Bespoke ones look just super tiny. This is terrible lighting. Let me turn around. There we go. Yeah, look how big these things are. That is, and look at this too. Like, they don't even fit in the thing. So after seeing this, I can almost completely confirm that the Salvation's baler heads are supposed to be Bespoke. So this is not going to last forever. I would imagine this will change. But let's go ahead and see if we have any benefit. And you know what? Now that I realize it, I probably should have left one of the Salvation baler heads on here, just to compare the stats. I don't think they would change anyways, because my understanding is that it's ship-based stats, not baler head stats. But if the baler heads are interchangeable, I would expect in the future that we'll probably get baler heads that do have different stats on them, whether it's like efficiency or speed or whatever the case is. We will see though. And it looks like it's exactly the same. You know what? I am going to skip ahead to when I get back to the hangar, and we are going to slap the regular baler head on here and see what happens. Okay, and look how tiny just the regular head is. But anyways, if you look at the stats, you still have 2.79 1.4 and 0.76 for each. And they are exactly the same. So there is no difference between the heads, the baler heads. It is all based on the module you have equipped and the ship that you are using. So if you want a second utility slot on your Salvation, at least for the 4.4 patch, you can put another baler head on there. Alright, so that's going to do it for the RSI Salvation. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me in my Discord server, discord.gg/schaulers. Link is down in the description. Let me know how you feel about the RSI Salvation as a starter ship, and if you picked one up yourself. I actually really like this thing and think it would go really, really well with a larger ship like a C2 or a Caterpillar. Or unfortunately it doesn't fit in the Caterpillar, but if you were to throw it in the C2, the Polaris, or the Idris, you could have an easy time just getting salvage and taking it back to base real quickly. So that being said, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more Star Citizen industrial based content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you want to know whenever I post a video, hit that notification bell. I am Saxawine with SC Haulers, and we'll see you at the next haul. Love you, bye.